Welcome to this explainer. Today, as part of the Parashat Shavua and relationship series with Mazal Klein, we're going to be exploring a razor-thin line in human communication. It's a line that can either build profound intimacy or literally instantly tear down a connection. Over the next few minutes, we're diving into the fine line between true honesty and hurtful bluntness. It's a dynamic we all navigate every single day. So let's jump right into the core question that trips up so many people. Are you actually being honest, or are you just being blunt? This trips people up in the dating world, in marriages, and honestly, even just in everyday relationships with coworkers and friends. We live in a world that absolutely prizes authenticity, right? We're constantly told to be real and speak our truth. But where exactly does being authentic end and being unnecessarily harsh begin? It's so easy to confuse the two, and mistaking bluntness for honesty is a trap that leaves the people we care about feeling incredibly isolated. To give you an idea of how this looks in the real world, take the scenario from Mazal's clinic. A client named שלומית, which is a pseudonym, of course, to protect her privacy, was reflecting on a date with a guy she otherwise thought was really charming. But she had this one massive hesitation. She told Mazal, "He's just too direct. He says whatever he thinks." And what's really fascinating here is that this is a complaint that goes both ways. People genuinely believe that blurting out every unfiltered thought is some kind of virtue of their honesty, totally forgetting to consider how those words are actually going to land. Picture this. שלומית finally felt comfortable enough to enthusiastically share a brand new hobby she was excited about. And his response? He immediately just looked at her and said it didn't sound like a fit for her. Now, he probably didn't intend to hurt her. In his head, he was likely just sharing a casual, honest observation. But his immediate, totally unfiltered reaction, it made her feel completely unseen. It instantly shut her down. The connection was just shattered, because his version of honesty lacked the necessary buffer of empathy. So how do we find a better approach? Well, Mazal beautifully connects this modern dating dilemma to some ancient wisdom from our weekly Torah portion. Specifically, she points to the opening of the book of Devarim, or Deuteronomy. It starts with the phrase, Ele hadvarim, which translates to, these are the words. This is a text that's fundamentally about reflection, communication, and the incredible weight that our words actually carry. Reminding us that these are the words perfectly sets the stage for how we should handle delicate conversations. And this brings us to the core lesson. Right before parting with the Israelites, Moses had to deliver some incredibly tough truths. But our sages explain that he didn't just unleash an unfiltered torrent of criticism on them. Instead, he delivered his message with this incredible sensitivity. He used hints, and he maintained profound respect for his audience. His goal was to fix the relationship and correct the behavior, not to shame them. He shows us that how we say things matters just as much, if not way more, than what we actually say. Unfortunately, that ancient lesson gets ignored a lot today. I mean, how many times have you heard someone say, "Hey, I'm just real," or "I just say it like it is," or "I don't sugarcoat things"? People wear their bluntness like it's a badge of honor. But true honesty doesn't mean you have to say every single unfiltered thought that pops into your head. A lot of times these phrases are just a defense mechanism. They're an excuse to avoid doing the emotional labor required to communicate your truth in a respectful way. Honesty is absolutely crucial, but it should never be an excuse for verbal recklessness. Let's make this super practical and jump back to Shlomit's date. Look at the stark difference between wounding directness, saying, "I'm not sure this suits you," versus compassionate honesty, like saying, "I'm interested to hear what drew you to this." You see the difference there? The second option doesn't hide the fact that you might be surprised, but instead of shutting the other person down with a snap judgment, it actually invites them to explain their passion. It builds a bridge instead of throwing up a wall. Let's check out another everyday example, one that causes so many unnecessary arguments. Notice how in both these approaches, the speaker is technically telling the truth, but saying you're exaggerating is aggressive. It's invalidating. Now consider the compassionate approach. I understand this was meaningful for you. I experienced it a bit differently. You're still clearly stating your disagreement, but you're doing it in a way that honors their experience. Only that second approach keeps the other person feeling safe enough to keep the conversation going. And this gets to a really core psychological reality. When people feel judged or attacked, their walls instantly go up. It's literally human nature. The moment someone feels emotionally unsafe, they completely stop listening to the substance of your argument and immediately start defending themselves. Once that defense mechanism kicks in, even your absolute best intentions get completely lost in the conflict. The conversation isn't even about the topic anymore. It's just about the emotional threat. As Mazal tells her clients all the time, a tiny tweak in your phrasing can create a massive shift in your connection. Because here is a fundamental truth about human memory. People are rarely going to remember the exact dictionary definition words you used in a conversation 6 months ago, but they will always remember exactly how you made them feel in that moment. Did you make them feel valued and heard? Or did you make them feel small and foolish? That emotional memory is the true foundation of your relationship. Look, we all have moments where we just want to blurt out our unvarnished opinions. It's the easy route for sure. But choosing to soften your delivery while still maintaining your truth is the absolute key to unlocking much deeper and more fulfilling connections. It definitely takes some practice, but the profound shift it brings to your life is completely worth it. To continue this journey, you are invited to contact Mazal Klein, a coach for marriage and happy relationships, who accompanies couples for closer communication, at the cell phone number 052-328-6037. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I want to leave you with this one thought. The next time you feel that sudden urge to just be blunt, will you take 2 extra seconds to ask yourself if your words are building a bridge or a wall?